I'm gonna invite everybody to um, be the way you want to be, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Um, I recommend some posture that allows you to have a reasonable degree of awareness, but also to be relaxed. No need to force anything, um, but it really changes the experience if you're aligned and your spine's kind of relaxed. Um, it creates more grounding. Just saying that. Yeah, so we'll get comfortable and um, in some sort of position that we can maintain for a while. And I guess like I'm just yeah, I mean the first thing I'm getting is this really solid like dark crystal kind of grounding. I guess that's why I had the dark crystals out. So it's kind of, yeah, I also have a black tourmaline out in front of the computer. Um, Black obsidian, a dark hematite. Let's ground in that space, dark crystal space, whatever that is at the moment. And also simply the the silence of the cities that we're in, and um, I mean we're being offered alone time on a level that usually we don't allow that to happen. Um, so there's a dark crystal vibe coming in, and then also there's just the fact of having more quiet time. It's really changed everything in the last week or two. We're all adjusting to it. So I'm encouraging us to enter that quiet space that's kind of already there. And also this dark crystal energy, which seems to be helpful. If you feel like doing something, you could visualize or experience or sense um, threads running through the kind of dark, quiet space, um, connecting you to your higher grounding. I have this tourmaline in front of me, which is very dark black, but it has these veins of mica running through it, which are white, almost transparent. So um, that's kind of the image that I'm having, like as if you were a big hunk of tourmaline, um, and through your structure are running these veins, um, these lighter veins or threads. there's a real art to loving yourself when you're alone in your own space. Um, and right now we're having a chance to really deepen into that practice. So there's also this aspect of simply being comfortable being alone, being comfortable with lots of space, um, just obviously social space. And I'll suggest surrendering to that dark space, that kind of open ended space. Open ended, but also very structured in its own way. So having less social and sensory information, or at least less social information, is kind of making the pathway through the heart and through the body more clear. This is also grounding us in health, in healthy vibrations. Um, and yeah, there's a tremendous amount of comfort and solace and balancing in the dark space. If you feel like welcoming loved ones into this space, you're very welcome to do that. Um, of course, James or Jan were mentioned at the beginning. Um, but whoever you feel like inviting into your personal dark crystal experience. Could also be non-physical beings, of course. If you feel like directing some of this towards James, that's definitely welcome. And also towards Jan. but also remember that you stay in the space. Sometimes when we think about offering, we immediately take a focus off of ourselves and put it onto someone else as if it was an either or. But in this case, it's both. We just stay in our own healing space, and that expands or it includes. Um, so yeah, just reminding everybody to stay in your own healing experience, whatever that is. Um, Obviously, on an earth level, on a physical level, we're welcoming equality of day and night at the equinox. Um, and our culture is so in denial of the night. Um, I mean, we have to put light through everything. Um, it's a compulsion. So, giving equal space to the dark and the light um, is really curative for us in particular. And it's part of why I'm focusing on the dark right now. We have a collective call to the dark to honor it more fully. It's equally about dark and light. Um, but this side is really asking for attention, the dark side. It's kind of like we're welcoming night on a collective level as well. Um, the dark the dark crystals are also, or this energy is also assistance with um, feeling happy and feeling grounded in places that are heavy. Feeling free in places that don't move very much or are not defined very much. Um, but there's still a freedom that comes with accepting that quality. As always, on behalf of the group, I invite infinite blessings to enter each of us and to become each of us. And again, there are threads of luminescence moving through this, through the body and through this experience. Um, Accepting night is also accepting our own depths and our own um, weirdness in various aspects. Um, we're spending a lot of time with those parts of ourselves that are not part of our social face. And that can be really rewarding, difficult, but also energizing. So the dark crystals are supporting that journey, that difficult but energizing journey, where we're in parts of ourselves that are more hidden. I also want to say that even though we're in a like the irony of working intensively with a very dark light, a dark field, is that the moment you step out of it, more light rushes in, like almost like just wind moving into an area of low pressure. Um, so if you're feeling without light, just remember that this action is a very, very deep invitation for more light to flow in at other times. Um, Exploring the light or the dark, you get a response from the other side of the polarity. And I'll just open it up a little bit more if people want to explore that polarity, um, find a balance of light and dark that suits you at this moment. we're also looking at personal power and motivation in new ways, collectively and within ourselves. Um, just to name that. And of course, we're looking at the power of silence. Um, we'll hang out here for a little bit longer. Again, you're welcome to play with your personal balance of light and dark. Um, it can also be a little bit about like what you feel like bringing to light, and what you feel like just letting stay unconscious, um, with no judgment, going with that choice. um, Whatever you want to remain unconscious can be that way, which lets consciousness manifest more easily if you're not trying to force the unconscious to be conscious, but just finding a natural balance. And it could be as simple as like, oh, what do I want to tidy up, and what do I want to just let be messy, or be its own way, be disorganized. um, Both having value, both being dear to your higher self, the conscious and the unconscious, and organized and disorganized. That'll probably lead into another little meditation, but for now, I'm gonna um, invite us to start coming back to conscious awareness, which we've sort of been doing already, just coming back to a more conscious way of processing things. The field being held by the dark crystal intelligences um, is freely available. Um, I use it all the time, so just to remember that it's always there. Um, Maybe sending gratitude to the dark crystal realms for their assistance and consciousness or unconsciousness. Also coming back to yourself and releasing whatever conscious connection you have to your spiritual guides, or to the people that we're sending healing to. Um, just coming back to your ordinary boundaries, as I usually say. And we'll drift back into having thoughts and whatnot, um, or having the usual play going on. Feels like one of those ones that we're just going to sort of drift out of. So, yeah, I'm just going to, yeah, I'll invite us to have a break. Um, and if you want to drift a little bit, that's totally good.